Day 7 of markets trading sideways. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Tech Solutions, and I'm not kidding. I mean, what is this? If we look at the Nasdaq market right now, and we look it up on the 30-minute time frame, we've been trading within this range since the 10th, and it's the 20th. So the past 10 days. So they're not all trading days, but pretty much for the past week. Pretty much 7 trading days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My apologies, 9 trading days. And then tomorrow we'll see if we break above or break below. I know I can't be the only one. And I mean, again, my job is to make videos here on a daily basis and keep you guys up to date with what is going on. There is no progress with what we are seeing with the market. There is no more bad news when it comes down to these tariffs so far. I think this week might be officially the first week that the market is actually not aggressively selling off with tariff news. And that's really exciting, right? Because again, if things aren't getting worse, then technically to the market, they could be getting better. The only thing that I continue to go back to is what the Federal Reserve continued to say. If you guys do not remember, yesterday was the FOMC meeting, and Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Federal Reserve, although the market reacted in a positive way, and who am I to judge, what was said versus what happened? And again, I'm going to make that very clear. This is simply my opinion. But if you listen back to what he said, he projected slower economic growth for 2025. He clearly displayed the concern of how these tariffs can present short-term inflation and short-term pain, at least for, again, the American people. But he did want to say that statistically speaking, when it comes down to our unemployment numbers, when it comes down to unemployment, when it comes down to just jobs in general, we're not doing too bad, right? And that's one thing that I learned from yesterday's performance, is that it wasn't that he said anything that was really encouraging. It wasn't that things were as bad as they looked. He pretty much, in my opinion, was trying to say that, everything was actually just fine. And although we cannot predict what's going to happen with these tariffs, it was kind of more of a reassurance for the American people and investors. And I think that's why the market reacted in such a positive way. But even with that, we have not been able to surpass this 485 resistance range. You can see the same common resistance range here. And now we're kind of establishing the support range right around 474, 470. I just like to focus on general areas. Remember, this is NASDAQ. This is the NASDAQ 1-for-1 ETF. So as long as we continue to trade sideways, it's not bad, but I know that at least for a lot of beginners, it's not the most encouraging move because we're not really showing any progress on recovery. And market does still offer a lot of potential recovery if things do actually begin to get better. I mean, let me pull up one of the most valuable companies that's publicly traded, NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA at the current price level, if markets do recover, this thing offers about 30% ROI. That's really exciting. Tesla has been getting absolutely slaughtered. First off, it didn't belong up here anyways. It was overhyped just because Trump and Elon were affiliated. But let's say that there is even some form of recovery up to the moving average. That's a 36% move, right? And even if we look at NASDAQ, right? Let's not look at any crazy stock. Let's say that you want to invest in a basket of tech companies. This would kind of be your approach, or the S&P 500 SPY. This thing offers about a 12 to almost 13% ROI. If the market does continue to recover. Again, we have no indication of it. I'm still paying attention to it day by day, just like you guys. All I'm here to remind you, and I'm sorry that, again, if it just sounds like the same thing over and over again, but it is. We do not know what's going to happen. You shouldn't be afraid to take advantage of this potential dip buy opportunity, but don't be convinced that the markets have to recover right now. Remember, if you cannot tolerate the time that it might take for the market to recover, do not buy too early and do not buy too heavy. If you guys remember back to one of the videos that I made, I talked about do not buy on leverage, do not buy too much, and tolerate the time, and make sure you understand that you need to be able to tolerate the time that it might take for the markets to recover. There is so much recovery potential. But again, we just do not have confirmation, and the sentiment still seems somewhat bearish. I know I can't be the only one. And again, I know I might be a little bit biased, but I think price action speaks for itself. Every time that it tries to recover, it just gets rejected. every time that it tries to recover, it just gets rejected. So even with one of my trades today, I wanted to show you guys this. My trade with Tesla, trading within range. Very easy to see overbought levels, very easy to see oversold levels. Some people love trading these horizontal setups. I talk about it in the LPP lesson library. Today alone, I made $3,200 and I left myself with my one lucky share. But I also want to show you one trade that didn't go exactly according to plan. It was trading within a much smaller range. I lost 61 bucks on Nvidia and I left myself again with my one lucky share. I tried shorting this one. It just didn't go according to plan. It continued to consolidate. I saw that it really wasn't showing any signs of progress. So again, my job is not to avoid risk. My job is simply to manage it. I kept my loss relatively pretty small. Overall, I'm grateful for how today played out, but today truly wasn't worth it. Even if my trade was perfect from highs to lows, this was a 3% sell-off. If we use this little trend line tool on the Webull trading application, from overall highs to overall lows, a 3.3% sell-off. And surprise, surprise, I didn't catch that whole 3% move. So again, it took a number of trades for me to make that $3,000. I caught a part of that sell-off. I then went long because again, I could see that during that pre-market session, it was a possible support range. It began to recover. I went long, took profits, went short. But again, it's like it was kind of challenging to get to this $3,200 gain on the day, where we have days where markets are incredibly bullish or incredibly bearish. Direction is super clear, and all I literally have to do is enter when I have confirmation and go with the trend. And I'm sure I can maybe speak for a lot of us. We prefer days like that. Again, if your criteria is not being met as a trader, do not be afraid to stay cash. Days like this are not always worth trading, and they're incredibly choppy, which can present a lot of risk for beginners that are just getting started. So again, when in doubt, don't be afraid to cash out. So I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. If you want to tune on in, that's going to be that second link in the description down below. And you can join us for $1.35 a day is what it breaks down to with the current sale we have going on. Also, for all those that like the different wall art that we have here in my office, it's all brushed aluminum, and we do provide it for you guys through shoptechbits.com or the fourth link in the description down below. We have 3 new designs that we just dropped, so if you guys want to check it out, again, Seek Discomfort, that's the Porsche GT3 RS, the Pista, Progress Not Perfection, and of course the Lamborghini Revolto, Fear is a Liar. Again, a handful of these different pieces are available right now. If you guys want to check it out, shoptechbits.com. So if you're tired of your boring walls, it's time to fuel your motivation. So I appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.